Live like you never die means that आप सोच रहे हो कि आपका कोई end ही नहीं है, आप जीते ही रहोगे. But when you die, it's like you never lived. After you, nobody even remembers that you ever lived a life. ऐसे नहीं जीना.
So what exactly the life meaning?
Whether you are successful or not successful is a completely different story. But you would have lived a life of satisfaction knowing कि मुझे ये करना था, यही मेरा प्यार है और यही मैं करने जा रहा हूँ, यही मैं कर रहा हूँ. That's the one currency that you will never get back. That's the one currency that the moment it's spent, it's spent.
Hi sir, welcome to the Open Talk Show.
Hi, thank you. It's great being here.
You're welcome, sir. And please tell me about you.
Well, I'm Vadhan. I'm a author, lawyer, one-time entrepreneur, dreamer mostly. I write fiction. I write fantasy fiction based on Indian mythology. I am a consultant for large organizations, which for their regulatory compliances as a lawyer. And that's about me and what I do.
Okay, sound great. Okay, so आज की जो थीम है जो हमारा एपिसोड का जो कि live like you never die, right? So you have write lots of book and fiction book especially. So I would like to know about all of them. Before I start about the main conversation, I want to know about you. Tell me about your childhood. Also, let me...
Sure. Well, I am basically from Andhra Pradesh. I was born and brought up in Chennai, which is in Tamil Nadu. I have been living in Gurgaon for the last 20 plus years, and I've also lived for some part of my life in Bombay. So you can say that mostly I'm a complete Indian.
Obviously, so it's part of the India.
So to speak. Yeah. So yeah, I've been across all parts of India.
Yeah.
And well, my childhood was filled with stories and like every grandchild of India, I had not one, not two, but three grandmothers, including my great grandmother, telling me stories as I grew up. So I was filled with stories by the time I was even 9 and 10, and by the time I was 13, I wanted to write my own book and tell my own story, so to speak. And I did start writing my first book when I was 13. Finished my law, went into practice for 10 years. I practiced constitutional law in the High Courts and in Supreme Court for the first 10 years of my career. And then for the last 24 years, I have been in regulatory compliance, which is a very niche area of law, in which large organizations consult with me in terms of their regulatory compliances across the globe, wherever they may be doing business. So I work in terms of law for around 70 odd countries. Totally, in terms where I've been asked to consult in terms of what needs to apply. So I'm not only versed with Indian law, but also
you understand that different countries,
the different kinds of laws that are in different countries.
Okay, I recently have a episode with the about Indian judiciary. I asked the same questions. People are not much about the different countries' law, but Indian laws have there's some of few loophole as well. Okay, there we had a discussion. That's another part, anyways. Okay. So let's come to you. You have told me that you have done for the 10 years law as well as your childhood. You started writing from your childhood. So what's motivated, what's inspired you to do that?
So, well, when I was about 11 or 12 years old, I read a book. I used to do a lot of reading. See, after my grandmothers lost their patience with me and said, no more stories for you, I started reading books. And so there were these Enid Blytons and Hardy Boys and Nancy Drews and all the other stuff that young boys used to read in those days. And So there was this one book that I picked up by a man called Robert Ludlum, called The Matry Circle. And after I'd finished reading the book, it was like a movie running in my head. And I decided that this is what I want to do for my life. I want to write books that makes people see movies in their heads. Right? So that is the one motivational factor that made me start writing when I was 13. I eventually completed that book much later when I was almost in my mid-30s. And I got it published by one of the largest publishers in the world, Bloomsbury's.
Okay.
And that happened to be the second book of mine that I got published.
Oh.
The book that I started writing first. So my motivation to write is to tell a story and to also include as much as possible whatever intelligent thinking that I can probably muster. So that's the background.
Yeah. So what are the main inspire you to people read their books? Like, what's the main message you most of the book have?
So
it's a motivational or storytelling.
I have a very mixed answer to that. Storyteller का एक ही मकसद होता है, वो है कहानी, to tell the story.
Okay.
Right? The story is all important. Right? उस स्टोरी में बहुत सारे मैसेजेस होते हैं. It can be and it is up to the reader to understand what message he wants to take.
Right.
It's not up to the author to tell him that this is the message I'm giving you.
Point.
Right?
Yeah.
So I tell a story. In that story, there are a lot of messages. For example, I start my first book, Shatru, was the name of the first book. I started with the first line of that book is that the universe gravitates towards chaos.
Okay.
The universe, by its very nature, gravitates towards chaos. Now, it is up to a reader to interpret it based on his life situation. Everything, whatever we do to set things in order, dhire dhire they all become chaotic.
You just told me that one line you used to read a book and there is a movie create on your head. So this is kind of outcome it will become, right? Okay. So I understood about that. So tell me about the journey. What you also have done a business, you said, right? A startup business.
No, so I started off with practicing law. And then I joined a firm or a company that was providing regulatory compliance services. I worked for some time. Then I moved out of that company and set up my own outfit, which provided regulatory compliance services back in 2010. And I ran that for about 8 years. Then I hived it off. So there ended my entrepreneurial journey.
What's the most I would love to know about few things about the entrepreneur because most of the business are failing right now, and you have past experience. What's the most three things required to be get a successful business?
See, the first thing that you need to have for any business is a very clear idea on what you want to do.
Okay.
What you want to provide, whether it's a service, whether it's a product, right? What do you want to provide? What is the value that you are adding to the people to whom you are offering this service? वो उस वैल्यू का आपको you have to have a proper understanding of value. Okay? ऐसे नहीं है कि आप कुछ सर्विस या प्रोडक्ट बना दिया और वो आपके पास है, खरीदो या ना खरीदो वो उसका मर्जी. ऐसे नहीं है भाई. Selling that service or selling that product, what is the value that they see in it is something that you have to clearly visualize before you start a business. So second thing, you asked me for 3 points. Yeah. The second point is that, you have to, as an entrepreneur and as a startup, you always will have to be on top of your money management.
Okay.
Right? Because money is the one thing that is scarce in any startup business. Right?
Yeah.
That's the second part that you need to see. And the third part you need to see is what is your ultimate goal?
Where you want to reach.
Where do you want to reach?
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
The sky could be the limit, which means it's limitless.
Right.
Or the trees could be the limit.
Hmm.
Or the clouds could be the limit. Where do you want to reach? And according to how you want to reach, you will have to set yourself to that goal.
Hmm.
And you'll have to then be selfless in terms of how much of work you put in there.
Got it.
9 to 5 and work-life balance, all of that doesn't really come into play when you're running the show, when it's your outfit, when you're the entrepreneur.
Okay. Do you think कोई भी business करने के लिए team होना जरूरी है पहले या self में start करना चाहिए?
देखिए, हर एक चीज के लिए टीम का जरूरत है,
Okay.
but the team will only believe in you if you are clear about what you want to do yourself, right? You have a dream, वो आपका ड्रीम है, और उस ड्रीम को किसी और somebody else has to believe in that dream to come and work with you, especially if it's a startup where there is no promise of whether there will be a tomorrow or not. So a team is important, of course, but that team will only come when they buy into your dream. So you'll have to be very clear and then go ahead with it.
Okay. So in terms of all of this, tell me about the you have experience about leave before never.
Yeah. So that's something that I was talking about in a TEDx session that I was providing to the students of IIM Kashipur. I said, so live like you never die.
Okay, live like you never die. Yes.
And when you die, it's like you've never lived.
So I
you should not live your life like that. That's what I was trying to say.
I really want to know, okay, you have written a lot of books, but your understanding, because right now people are so much quite mass. Okay, there's a lot of things. Okay, some people are doing just fun. Okay, live a life doing 9 to 6 job and just शाम को कि कहीं पे ऐसे जगह पे बैठ जाता है. Those kind of things happen. So what exactly the life meaning?
Purpose is the concept behind it. See, live like you never die means that आप सोच रहे हो कि आपका कोई end ही नहीं है, आप जीते ही रहोगे. But when you die, it's like you never lived. After you die, nobody even remembers that you ever lived a life. ऐसे नहीं जीना है. So know that you have a limited amount of time on this planet, right? And in that limited amount of time, क्या करना चाहते हो?
So basically, we have to be very clear understanding that you have a one life and this is the life you have to live.
No, not just that. You have this life. What do you want to do with this life?
Yeah.
What is the purpose? What is your purpose? What is your goal? What is your passion? 90% of the people on this planet live and die without an understanding of what their passion is. क्या मुझे लिखना पैशन है? क्या मुझे एक्टिंग करना पैशन है? क्या मुझे ब्रिजेस बनाना पैशन है? मेरा पैशन क्या है? रॉकेट्स बनाना पैशन है. And those people who have understood that passion and who follow with that passion are the ones who have become really happy with their life. Whether you are successful or not successful is a completely different story. But you would have lived a life of satisfaction knowing कि मुझे ये करना था, यही मेरा प्यार है और यही मैं करने जा रहा हूँ, यही मैं कर रहा हूँ. Whether I have limited success, whether I have enormous success is a completely different matter. That should not bother you. What should bother you is, are you doing what you want to do?
Okay, how does people know that this is the right baby? I think everyone know that they will live for a certain time and they will die. But what's the best way to live in a best life?
Very soon or very early in your life, you'll have to figure out कि तुम्हें आपको क्या चाहिए. अगर आप यही figure out नहीं करोगे, तो then you will not know. You will be like a rudderless boat, क्योंकि कोई डायरेक्शन नहीं होगा. So for example, स्कूल खत्म हो गया, स्कूल में साइंस लेना है, कॉमर्स लेना है, क्या लेना है, मैथ्स लेना है,
okay.
किसी और ने कहा कि आपको यही लेना है क्योंकि this is the path that will lead you to success. Then you finish school and you say, अच्छा मुझे डॉक्टर बनना है, इंजीनियर बनना है, लॉयर बनना है, जो कुछ भी बनना है. किसी और से पूछोगे, किसी और ने बताया कि मैंने ये किया, तो उसने वो किया, और तुम्हारे you should do this. So then you do that. Basically because you think, okay, this is an option. These are the only options I have. Uske baad you go to work, you settle down in your life, you live for your wife, you live for your children, you live for your parents. Then by the time you finished, you're in your 40s and 50s, and then you're saying, oops, what happened to my life? Where did it
What
go?
I did.
Where did it go?
Yeah.
And that is when you realize, listen, boss, I always wanted to go for a Himalayan trek. Nahi hua. I always wanted to write a poem. Nahi hua. I always wanted to do something. But किया ही नहीं, सोचा ही नहीं उसके बारे में. मुझे क्या चाहिए मुझे मालूम नहीं था. So unless, and I was lucky that way.
Okay.
So I read this book by Robert Ludlum called The Matrix Circle. I figured out that, hey, writing a book is what I want to do in my life. Right? And I got that, say, gyan, that revelation, that bodhi sattva thingy when I was 13, and I followed it up. Right? Am I the most successful author in the country? No. And I have no reason to be the most successful author in the country. I have every reason to be happy because I am an author.
Yeah.
And I have written my books, and my only challenge is me that my next book should be better than my previous one.
Right.
Not that I am the best-selling authors, one of the best-selling authors, and I'm one of the top authors in the country or in the world. It doesn't make a difference. I mean, what the hell? There's always somebody better than you, and that's a rat race, and you should never run a rat race. Rat race mein there's always somebody ahead of you. उस rat race जो कहते हैं
I always say that, सबका बाप होता है.
हाँ, सबका बाप होता है. And so your competition is not the fellow ahead of you. Your competition is how you can be better than yourself. How you were yesterday, how you're going to be tomorrow, and today. What are you going to do to make it better for you? You are your challenge. And as far as you understand that simple fact that you are the challenge, and that you have to keep challenging yourself, that's enough.
What's the baby step for this? Like, I'm gonna say that, if you see the present generation, most of the people, I had a conversation with them, my friends, and I meet a people, okay, bhai life mein karna kya chahta hai? So they do not have those kind of, bhai chal raha hai life, okay, naukri kar raha ho, so fine. They do not have a goal, and they do not have those kind of mentality right now is too much. Okay, and eventually by the time they got to realize that we miss so many things. Okay, so I just want to know, sir, what's the baby step to make things not to realize for after ages that we have missed this opportunity from our life.
There has to be an element of luck.
Okay.
कि आपको पहले से ही आप realize कर लो कि आपको क्या करना है. Okay, so what happens is people generally जो गलत है वो चूज कर लेते हैं. जैसे smoking at 11 years or 12 years.
That's too much.
Or drinking. But ये कोई passion नहीं होता. So when you can choose stuff like that, why can't you choose what you like, which is also productive, which is also constructive, which is also something that is interesting not only to you but to the world as large, right? So the first step is to understand what you want to be in life, where you want to, what kind of man or what kind of a person you want to be in life. If you decide that, then that's what would be the first step, right? Like again, I can only look at myself as an example,
and
I can tell you that that I wanted to be an author. Okay, lawyer, completely accidental.
What was the feeling when you released the first book?
So there's a story behind that.
Yeah, please tell me that.
So I started writing when I was 13. Then life took over. Started college law, finished law, started practicing law. Usme busy ho gaya tha. And then marriage, children. Children ko kaha stories, just to tell them stories. And one of the stories that I started telling my children was a story about Indian superheroes. They wanted to know about superheroes. So Indian superheroes, मैंने सोचा कि मैं उनके बारे में बोलूं. And then I started telling a story about one of my favorite characters from Mahabharata called Ashwatthama.
Okay.
उसके बाद क्या हुआ, बहुत सारे चीज हो गए. Children grew up, they went away, but the stories were with me. So I started writing. That spark
Is
came
that
again
is that before marriage or
after marriage,
after
my
marriage?
children.
Okay.
My children.
People are like nowadays, as people like Nick, when you get married, you're having so much responsibility and you can't do anything, right? And I think the good part about you, what I'm hearing, that you want to do something and it's done after your marriage too,
Yeah.
because you want to do that.
So so ultimately, the stories to the children, and the children grew up, and as they grew up, they lost interest in the stories. They had their own thing to do.
Hmm.
उसके बाद I started writing those stories, and it became a book, and that book became my first book to be published, which was called Shatru.
Okay.
And and when this first book came out, it was like another child had come out
Okay. From you.
from my mind.
Uh,
And it was an amazing feeling to see that book. And then now, after that, 5 more books I have written. And every time you write a book, it's a huge process. It's the most creative part of the process is in the beginning. जब आप कहानी लिखते हो.
So what do you realize that when you're moving for the next book, you're writing the new one?
Well,
I'm talking about you told me that there's a process you're learning.
Well, there's an idea first.
Okay.
And then that idea germinates into a statement, one sentence. And then that one sentence becomes a story. And it goes on and on. मुझे सिर्फ ये मालूम है what is the beginning of the story and how I want to end the story. बीच में जो भी आता है, it is something that is completely left to creativity. Right? I put my finger to the keyboard and then the story writes itself. If you ask any author, he will tell you this. I put my finger to the keyboard and then the story writes itself.
Okay.
It flows through you. You are only a medium through which it flows and goes out into the world.
Sound good.
Right? So that's the process. But there is a lot of other processes that happen. Once you completed your first draft, the amount of work that goes into editing that is to me, that is a very important part of a book. Because I know that there are authors who say, मैं एक बार लिखता हूँ, उसके बाद publisher को भेज देता हूँ, वो publish कर देता है. I don't believe in that. I believe that I have to refine my work. पहले the first draft is always a process of thoughts.
Yeah, so you go and...
So then you have to develop that, and when you develop that is when you you refine the story and make it something that is presentable, that is readable.
Yeah, it's
right,
it's better.
and that is important. So
Yeah.
even that's when you love what you do, like when I'm passionate about my writing, I love the editing part. And then it goes to the publisher, and then the publisher has his own editor who comes back and gives you feedback. And then there is another round that goes there. And then finally, once everything is complete, the publisher sends you the finalized copy and says, "एक बार और पढ़ो."
अच्छा.
ये entire process 1 साल हो जाता है.
Okay.
After writing the book, 1 साल हो जाता है by the time you actually completed you are satisfied with the final version of the book, and then it goes into print.
I got it. Okay. So ये तो आपकी पर्सनल ड्रीम था, you got success, right? So after you work on your dream, your novels you have completed, when does you make you feel that you should live your life like a never die?
No, so I don't live like I will never die. I live knowing that I will die.
Okay.
Right? And that there's a limited amount of time. From the time I was born to the time I die. I don't know when I'm going to die, but I am going to die, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So what can I do to make my life better? Make my life more purposeful. My legacy, जो मैं छोड़ के वापस यहाँ से जाऊँगा तो क्या छोड़ के जाऊँगा? Maybe something for my children, something for my wife. But like legacy छोड़ कर जाना है तो today I know that today if I die, I know that I have 6 books that will
live forever.
That will live forever.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I also believe the same.
I think that, yeah. So I think that is important.
Yeah.
For every person to leave something behind, not just properties, not just money. Money will get digested like nobody's business. But, but what you leave behind as a legacy If you
point.
take anybody in history, what do we remember them for? And how many people do we? Only those people who've left something behind. Whether it is a Mahatma Gandhi, whether it is a Martin Luther King, whether it is Adolf Hitler, right, or whether it is Elon Musk or President Trump or our own president, our own Prime Minister Modi, they have all had a purpose in their life, and of course my favorite star in the whole galaxy is Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, and they have left their legacies behind, and they know that one day they won't be there.
Yeah.
But what they have left behind is that their lives, even after they are gone, will always be there like a lighthouse, like a beacon, showing us the way on how to lead a life.
Yeah, this is the one of the example, one of the example, Mr. Bachchan is today also yours working. He's like a more than 75.
In his 80s, I think, and he has a very tight schedule. I understand that. I don't know. I don't know
So
him
he
personally.
have a purpose of
I would
life.
love to know him personally, but I don't know him. But I heard that he has a very tough schedule that he keeps even today at his age. And that, I think, is only a result of passion. It's not as if he needs money. It's only because of the passion he has for that craft. And even at this age, he's thinking of new things to do. He's thinking of new ways to provide the kind of entertainment that only he can provide. It's amazing.
Yeah, completely.
And you are so involved with your life, so you're so enjoying your life because you're doing exactly what you love to do.
So all the legacy come from the your passions, right? So
Only
meanwhile,
passion.
you have to follow the passion, your passion.
That is what I'm saying. That at the end of the day, not at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, first identify what is your passion. I guess that 90% of the people in the world don't even understand what their passion is. Some of them because they can't, they have no choice. Some of them, yes, even though they have a choice, they are more so busy making money.
What do you see about the present generations, in your opinion?
Well, there are two opinions.
Tell me the both.
As a professional who's working in one of the big four, who's working with the millennials and with the Generation Alpha, whatever you want to call them. What I understand is that they are different, very different from the kind of school of thought that I come from. Maybe I'm not able to adjust to that. Maybe that's the way the world will progress. But what I think is that, you can't be, you will have to take up a responsibility and you'll have to take it up fully. The responsibility is not about a 9-to-5 job. A responsibility is a responsibility forever. That's something that these guys have to understand.
Do you think, when come to the life, do you think as a travel also is one of the part? Your passion should be there?
My passion is traveling. I love traveling. I like long distance driving and traveling, especially long distance driving. So to me, travel means travel through long distance driving. Traveling on a plane is, exciting. Traveling a train is good fun sometimes. But, driving to me, and that's personally to me, is something that is completely liberating. It's like I'm free on the open road.
Yeah, I understand.
And
it's like a flying.
It's like, it's a completely different. It's like writing.
Yeah.
To me, writing is very liberating. If you see what's written on my t-shirt, it says a writer is a world trapped in a person.
Yeah.
A writer is a world trapped in a person. To me, I am, and that's the kind of feeling you have when you write. When you write, you open yourself out to not one world but many worlds. Driving is like that to me. Long distance driving is like that to me. So travel has to be an important quotient of a person's life because you learn.
So one of the this is, if you talk about I'm living a life, when people are noticing about me, my family, my friend, school friends, so they notice one thing about me that he's living a good life. And I don't know, but one time I was doing only 9-to-5 job. Now then after a while, when starting traveling, then I got to find something else. Purpose. I have to do something. And today I'm doing something. Also, I'm doing other things.
You discovered your purpose.
Exactly. That is the point. Okay. So sometime, okay, from moving from one thing to another thing is, I think not only one thing, it always, if you feel like, this place is hurting me too much, मैं ये बोलता हूँ, you should leave the place for a while. Change the place, you will get somewhere, yes, okay, meet new people, having conversations, okay, and eventually you will get out of the things you're hurting inside, and you will automatically get out of the thing. Then automatically you have to realize that that was nothing. So one of the thing I believe, change is always good. Like purpose, you have to understand what you need, as you told me. So yeah, one of the reason I
Yeah, so you'll always get out of your comfort zone.
yeah.
You should always get out of your comfort zone, and only then your only challenge is yourself. You have to keep challenging yourself to do different things.
Right. So one of the other things, I believe I'm very passionate about, what I'm doing, what I wanna do. I'm very passionate, even I'm trying so hard, okay, because I have a purpose, and that is the vision of life. I know that I'm gonna die, and I'm gonna die for sure, and I'm living a life like I'm never die. That is, I can see in myself, even around people, like, whoever know me. It's quite. They told me that, yeah, whatever you're doing, good. I personally believe that, like, we're having podcast today. Okay, I believe that, okay, if our life is in the internet will be whole forever, this podcast, and that it will be remembered someday, someone, somewhere, sometime, maybe someone watch our show, and that will be us. This is the one of the purpose. So I think everyone should. I made a people, like, they do not. They said, like, I'm like, what are you gonna do? I don't know. How can someone don't know about what they wanna do?
Well, that's what I say. Like, they're living life thinking that sometime, somewhere in the future, they'll figure out what they want to do because there's enough time left.
Okay, so sir, you're older than me, obviously. So I wanna know, when people are really got to realize this come of age, then you miss a lot of things on this age.
So say after you pass that age, obviously, देखो, age is only a number.
Yeah, I know
Right.
that.
When you are in your 30s, you think that being in the 50s is old. When you are in the 50s, you think being in the 70s is old. When you are in the 70s, you're thinking that being in the 90s is old. So age is only a number, right? So it's about how young you are inside yourself,
Right.
how
Okay.
young your heart is, how young your mind is, right? So I used to love riding bikes when I was in college, and when I was working as a young lawyer. I used to ride a bullet.
Okay.
And I suddenly one day I decided that I started missing riding a bike. And I wanted to ride a bike. So I went and bought myself a bike just now. Just recently I went and bought myself a bike. I bought a 650, that, what's it called? Super Meteor. And I said, listen, I'm going to ride bikes every weekend. Because I've done everything. My children are settled. My work is good. I'm complete. I write books. I think this is the time for me to live for myself. Not
Are you
for
retired now?
Not for someone else. No, I'm not retired.
Okay.
I believe that both as a writer and as a lawyer, there is no retirement.
Okay.
Okay. I don't believe as a human being also there is no such thing as retirement. Right? Retirement का मतलब क्या है? What do you mean retire? Every day in the night I retire and go to sleep. Is that retirement? Retirement का मतलब ये होता है कि organizations, जो बड़े organizations हैं, वो एक एज के बाद आपको वहां काम करने नहीं देते. रिटायरमेंट का मतलब सिर्फ वही होता है. There is no meaning for the word retirement otherwise. Right? I don't believe such a thing as retirement. घर में बैठ के, you sit every day at home, man. You read the newspaper every day. What else are you going to do? Something that you want to do.
Okay, so one more question I have. How can be someone better person?
See, again, that is introspection. Like, you have to think through yourself. Everybody has to introspect.
So what's your perspective on that?
My perspective is that you have to challenge yourself.
Okay.
Right? कोई और आके आपसे पूछे कि तुम है क्या चीज, तो आपको बुरा लगता है. क्यों ना आप ही पूछ लें अपने आप को.
Okay.
तो है क्या चीज? What are you? What have you done? So I know a man. He had a disease called muscular dystrophy. It's a little long story. Yeah? You have to be
No,
patient.
that's fine.
He had a disease called muscular dystrophy, and he could not. Muscular dystrophy का मतलब ये है कि you lose the use of your limbs, your muscles पूरे weak हो जाते हैं, and you die very early. क्योंकि heart भी एक muscle ही है, and it will stop functioning. So muscular dystrophy में जो लोग रहते हैं, very rarely they live up to 30 years.
Okay.
So this man came from a very affluent background, बड़े family background था. So and his family was a cricketing family. जो बहुत सारे cricket players थे. And he loved cricket, but he couldn't play cricket.
Oh.
So what he did was he set up his own cricket club. Okay, and he lived in a town. He was the big man of the town, so to speak. And he brought in all the children in that town, made them play cricket in his club, and they all became Ranji players. Some of them even represented India, South Zone.
Okay.
And they all got very good jobs. He helped a lot of people grow, etc. and so forth. बहुत अच्छा था. He came, and then at the age of 28, that man died.
Oh. Age of 28.
28. Muscular dystrophy में age बहुत कम age में आप गुजर जाते हो. So he died at the age of 28. It is 57 years today since he died.
Sorry. Okay.
After he died, 57 years have gone. He died back in 1967.
Okay.
So आज के दिन में 57 years हो गए हैं.
Oh. You still remember?
And I get messages even today about this man. People message me 57 years later after he died. They message me saying that, he used to do this. I used to see him in the car. He was such a handsome man. My father became what he was because of this man. My uncle became this. My entire family is living thanks to this man. And we are very grateful to you, and etc. and so forth. Is the messages I receive.
So they sound like the theme we have for this episode.
Absolutely.
It's like a same.
Live like you'll never die is not wrong. You live knowing you will die, and after you die, also people will remember you.
I got very inspired of the.
So this man, this lame man who was 57 years ago who died when he was only 28, was my father. And that's how I get the messages about what he did. I get the messages about what he did because people show their respect for him and their gratefulness to him. There's nobody else but they say it to me. 57 years later. I mean, to me, he is the greatest, shall we say, encouragement, my greatest icon to live to live with a purpose. And when you solve that purpose, and when even after you died, people remember you because you lived for a goal.
Yeah, I understood. So I understood. Even I thought in the same way. Okay, I'm very inspired with the people like Dr. Abdul Kalam ji. Okay, his stories are completely the inspirations. Okay. And also the Mahatma Gandhi, because I know some people are criticize him, some people are love him, but I believe one thing very simple, that one thing that is he did something, obviously something good. Only the reason he's in the he live for long, like forever, I would say. For India, it's a history forever.
It doesn't matter what people say. People always say, as long as people are saying. That's okay. तुम्हारे आपके बुराई करें, आपके भलाई, whatever it is, whichever way it is.
So we came to what's that? We came to we born for a purpose, and I think we came for a purpose. We will go for a purpose.
We have to realize that purpose, and most people don't realize that purpose. And the moment you realize the purpose and you live that purpose, you actually live that purpose for that purpose. Then your life will be a very happy life.
What are the things people can get to understand that they work on the purpose. Like, the people have a discussions, right? Who are they required to follow their dreams? I know that it sounds like everyone, but it's still there is a few people are very noticeable.
Ideally, this is a lesson you learn. It's about how quickly you learn that lesson, how early you learn that lesson, right? If you learn that lesson when you are in your teens, then your life will take purpose. Your life's purpose will be solved or will be understood earlier.
Tell me about that. जो आपने बताया था about the generations today. Okay, some people are growing too fast. Some people are not because they are not proactive with their goal.
So, see, my input, given that I work with young people, young lawyers mostly, in the work that I do, what I find is that they are a little laid back. I don't know if it is politically right to say all this. I come from a different generation which believed that, smart work pays off, hard work pays off. And it did for me. So saying that, I want a work-life balance. I want I want to go home at 6 in the evening. You cannot make me a slave. ये सब कुछ ठीक है, लेकिन सीख भी रहे हो ना.
Point.
Right? You are here to learn to live. And when you join an organization as a young man, or a young person, is that you are able to learn what you need to do in your life and figure out how you want to do it. अगर उसमें भी आप आके conditions डाल दोगे कि मैं, it's like saying that, listen boss, I will not breathe after 6 o'clock because it's too much effort. 6 o'clock के बाद में मैं सांस ही नहीं लूंगा, फिर से 9 बजे शुरू कर दो. ये कैसे हो सकता है? Learning is a continuous process.
Yeah.
Right? Throughout life, we have to keep learning something or the other. We have to learn. There is just too much for us to say, oh, I've learned enough. And when you are a young employee and you want to take time off and, push back and relax and have a drink because, it's 6 o'clock in the evening and you shouldn't work anymore, doesn't work. I work till 9 in the night. Then I write from 9 till about 2 in the morning. And then I go to sleep. And I wake up at 6:30 in the morning. And I'm out for a walk or a run or work out in a gym and I'm back in office. So I keep myself busy. What are you going to do? I still find time to watch television, to watch my favorite OTTs. I still find time to go to the movies. With my family, with my wife. There will be complaints from people saying that you're not spending enough time with me, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. वो तो complaints रहेंगी. अगर आप काम नहीं करोगे, घर में बैठोगे तो complaint आएगी कि तू घर में क्यों बैठा है भाई, जाकर काम करो.
You will not get that success you wanna do.
You are wasting your time. It's your time. I'm not talking about you spending your time for me. I'm saying you're wasting your time. If you're not wasting your time, I'm fine with it. But if you are, because you think that, my, personal life shouldn't get affected, etc. and so forth. So, I don't know, man. Your personal life in any which way will be impacted positively or negatively, one way or another. Just like your professional life will be impacted, just like everything else in this world is impacted, right? So you have to be on your toes to look at everything and balance everything and still move on, right? This is too much of a pressure, this is too much of a thing, I can't do this, is something that is very funny from a young person. I can understand, and if you tell a 70-year-old man to work hard, then it is understandable because his faculties have lowered down. This is a time for you to learn, to understand what the world is. The world is not an easy place to live in. Right? So my point is that, you have to figure out what you want to do. If you don't like to work like this, then you figure out what you want to do.
Right.
Ultimately, whatever you figure out, whatever you find out that you want to do, you will have to put in the same amount of time there.
time always pay out.
And it's a very expensive commodity. Huh? Time is not something that you can actually get back.
Yeah.
That's the one currency that you will never get back. That's the one currency that the moment it's spent, it's spent. No matter how much money you
So
have,
do you think
you can't get a minute back.
Do you think young people should focus with their whatever you're thinking, your dream, okay, and they should have ambitions to do something?
Of course.
And because some people really don't, they just don't care, especially the.
See, so my message is to those people who care to figure out what you want to do. For those who don't care, they don't care.
What's a simple word to say that to them? Like just focus and kya exactly?
Simple word to them is, boss, you have limited time.
Okay, that sounds good. You have limited time.
You have limited time. Now you figure out what you want to do.
You don't know
time.
what
If
tomorrow.
you don't figure out, time will run out, and then there is no point in regret. There's no purpose. There's a point in regretting. I should have done this. I should have done that.
You should understand that this is good. This is will be happen. Okay, so don't.
एक मौका भी अगर मिलता है जिंदगी में तो ले लो. But you have to figure out what that मौका is. What मौका do you want? What chance do you want?
So इस बात पे एक और सवाल आता है. आपकी जो सर्कल होता है, फ्रेंड सर्कल है, क्या उससे आपकी लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट करता है? होता है.
All the time.
So can you tell me about that? How can you be?
See, it's about you choosing your friends.
Make your paper. Okay.
It's about you choosing your friends. It's not about whom you want to hang out with. It doesn't mean that मैं ये ऐसे ही friends choose करूँगा जो मुझसे अमीर हो या मुझसे कामयाब हो. ऐसे नहीं है. लेकिन you have to choose friends who have a constructive frame of mind, right? Who have a constructive frame of mind in which they are focused on what they want to be in life, because then they will influence you to be like them. Or you can be with a friend who's got lots of money thanks to his father or grandfather or whoever it is, who is not as enterprising as they were, who sits in his Mercedes Benz and sits down with liquor and goes around town at high speed drinking. वो भी कर सकते हो. लेकिन I mean, if you can see how knowledge will give you more knowledge. Money by its nature will give you more money. Right? Hard work will only give you better life. Right? Smart work will give you better life. In the same way, if you don't do the hard work, or if you don't do the smart work, or if you're lazing around, your life will only go down. Cause, effect.
Right.
There is no other force that will come and suddenly and divinely change you and give you a better life. And you then at the end of the day, what you'll do is you'll end up blaming all the people in your life. मेरे बाप सही नहीं थे, मेरे दोस्त सही नहीं थे, वो तो तू तो सही हो सकता था.
बिल्कुल. That is a good thing too. Simple understanding. You can't blame anyone. You can blame yourself.
You should only blame. That's why you challenge yourself. तो चीज क्या है? कोई और पूछेगा तो बुरा लगेगा. तू अपने आप से पूछ ना. तू चीज क्या है? And then when you are not able to answer that, say that I can do better than this. Is the answer that you will always get. You should get.
And when you're doing something, when you're paying, you will get reverse payout. Like when you're paying your intention, time. Okay, so that will be
no pain, no gain. Simple.
Yeah.
4 words.
For everything in career, in personal life.
Everything is no pain, there's no gain.
Do you think people should go understand about their every emotions?
Understand about the emotions.
Yeah, every emotions.
Identify whether you want to understand or not is step 2. First, are you able to identify your emotions?
Right.
Most people are unable to identify fear. I am unable to identify jealousy. They're not able to identify envy. कि ये actually जलन हो रही है. Who would like to admit, हाँ मुझे जलन हो रही है, क्यों हो रही है? Right? And then once you have identified your emotion, then you have to understand why you have that emotion. And then solve the solution, get a solution for that. Right? But if you don't understand your emotions, you'll always be in pain.
Right.
Identify an emotion first, and then understand why that emotion is impacting you.
I'm think we have a lot of conversations, sir. I hope you enjoyed the show.
Oh yes, it was wonderful. Nice
Okay.
talking.
Thank you so much for coming, sir.